Alright, I took my Wltoys out for a quick snow bash and ended up burning up the ESC, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what's going on with it. Alright, you can see it, the ESC is on right now. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. And then I'm going to connect the motor here. And it shouldn't do anything, but it's going to go ahead and go full throttle here. So. And that is off, going full throttle. I cut it on. Alright, so obviously this ESC isn't functioning properly anymore, so we're going to have to go ahead and take this out. Somehow or another, I believe, I noticed on the bottom here, it got a little crack right there, and I think that made it get water inside of it and basically just made it short out, and probably the cause for this. So we're going to go ahead and use my upgrades that I purchased, and we're going to take this thing off, take this 5-wire servo out of here. I'm going to go ahead and use a upgraded FIYU servo, F-E-I-Y-U-E, and it's going to be a 3-wire, which is going to hook up to my new electronics. Alright, this is my Ghoul RC ESC. This is 2 to 3S capable, and it has a built-in BEC. I already have everything pretty much connected. It has a on and off switch with it. And this is my FlySky receiver that I've already ordered and hooked up. It comes separately, but I have it all set up pretty much ready to go. I've got my Velcro to attach it here. I've just got to swap out this servo here, and that's my servo right here. It's got a Metal Gear servo in there. We're going to go ahead and swap this out. I'm probably going to keep the servo saver on there and swap it onto here if I can. That way it can save this one on jumps and any type of accidents I might have. Alright, just pulled this one Phillips screw out of the steering horn right here, out of the servo, and detached it right here. I'm going to flip the car over and detach 2 screws right there that hold this bracket on, and then you can take a whole bracket out. Alright, I flipped it back over. It was just 2 screws on the bottom. That's the whole bracket, the mount. You just take these screws off and it should go right onto here. See, it's pretty much the exact same size. Should work out. Alright, when I ordered this, I did check the dimensions, but usually with upgrading, you're going to have to do some custom fitting, and I'm finding that now that this is not the same size. This says that it's the same size, but it's not. This is a plastic gear like I thought, but it is just, the new one for the FIYU is just the tiniest bit smaller. You can see there's a little bit of a gap in there. So I'm just going to trim this bracket, cut a centerpiece out, and it will still secure it in there. I'm probably going to have to create some sort of brace in there to join it together. And I did have to ream these holes out some in order to fit the the bracket onto the new servo. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this and then come back. And the holes are reamed out on the right side. You can see that they're etched out a little. And this side, you can see I haven't cut it yet, but this side I etched out just a little bit to fit on the bracket. Alright, I changed my mind. I'm not going to cut this bracket because the way it secures into the truck, it has to be a certain space apart. So I decided to make a miniature bracket. I reamed out holes big enough for the holes to fit inside of these pins, and it's going to slide in between here like that. I'm just going to pinch it together with some pliers and run 4 screws in there. Alright, go ahead and attached my bracket onto this. Slide this on here. Put this side in. And then this side, you can see the screw holes just line up. And I've rebuilt the bracket. Got my little piece in there. I'm just going to set it in there. And we're going to plug it in and center this first before we hook it up. And I'm going to go ahead and use the older piece to attach it just to simplify it. And I do have my new stuff in case the old stuff breaks. I cannot use this old piece because the new servo, the gear is a little bit smaller. Alright, I went ahead and put in my 2 mount screws for the bracket. Now the servo's in there. Alright, I cut a little square out right here. I'm going to go ahead and put some double-sided tape on the bottom of my receiver. Alright, I stuck the double-sided tape on there. I'm going to slip this thing inside this little cubby hole. It works out pretty good for the receiver. And that's not going to go anywhere. And then I can secure my ESC up on top to the Velcro. And I run my power lines to the back. And these are for the motor. Okay. Alright, this new ESC, the connectors are a little bit bigger and it does not like to go in here. It's just really tight. So I'm just going to go ahead.
Haha, that's what she said.
Go ahead and try the big battery. It's got the bigger connector. You plug right into it pretty easily. I've got it all cut out for this battery already, so it fits in there nicely. It's cut right here to fit. You can cut it on. And it's blue wire to the red wire. And then the yellow one goes to the black on this ESC. We'll give it a little bit of throttle with the fly sky. And it's got a brake in it, an engine brake. It makes it stop very quickly. That's me holding the throttle. And I'm not going to give it full throttle right now. Alright, I did have to pull that steering horn back off to give it a quick adjustment, just to center it up and everything, because it doesn't have a lot of movement. And I attached it to the inner screw hole, because that inner screw hole under short movement will give it a lot more throw back and forth. If it was on the end, it would take more movement of the servo to give it more movement on the steering. So if you get that tight steering ratio with the closer hole, it gives you a better steering ratio. It steers more quickly with less throw of the arm. Seems a little bit weak still. I might end up throwing a full-size servo in there eventually. here getting ready to do a first test run, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it on here in a second. But you just got to keep in mind that the new parts that I just put in here are not waterproof. The servo is not waterproof, and the receiver under here is not waterproof. But the ESC that I installed is waterproof. But I'm just gonna have to get some more parts, I reckon, to be able to put it all together. So we got our fly sky, put the antenna up, we're working. I'm gonna go ahead and try to drive it around.
And fail.
Doing alright, it's just weird in reverse how it does that. Watch. It's weird. It like jerks. Apparently I'm a terrible driver today though, but oh well, it's driving pretty good. I was out here trying to do a little bit of speed runs. I think the punch is set down a little bit lower than the original ESC. It doesn't quite wheelie as hard with this battery. You can see it kind of takes a second. It doesn't really bring the front end up as hard as it did with the original ESC. I don't know if it's something you can program or whatnot, but I don't know, it does pretty good. But it's got a lot of power, a lot of high-end power. But that initial punch, when it first takes off, I think is a little bit weak. I'm not sure why. And you can see that engine brake working. But it just does that jerkiness in reverse. I might have to get them to send me another ESC. But I don't know. But it drives really powerful when it's up to speed. I've got the dual rate on the steering turned down, so it's not rolling over. It's not doing traction roll quite as hard. So maybe it's spinning the tires instead of just taking off. Well, I think you get the gist of it. It runs good. It's got a lot of power. It's just that initial torque isn't as strong. It doesn't wheelie as hard as it did before, but it's a little bit more controllable, so it's not too bad. But I kind of liked when it wheelied. I might have to do something to adjust that. But other than that, that's going to be it.